All right, what's going on, everybody? This is going to be an install video for the Baja Designs Squadron flashlight for the bigger batteries, the Milwaukee M18 and the DeWalt 20 volt. Sorry for the change of scenery. Normally I'd be doing this in the workshop, but the printers are very loud and they're all running to fulfill all the Black Friday sale orders. So we are in my home. It's a bit quieter here, some good lighting. So yeah, let's do this. First things first, I think we should do a little bit of an inventory of what we have, maybe the tools that we need, and then kind of the process for how we are going to turn this into this. So yeah. First, we have our housing. This is what we manufacture. This is what we build. It'll come to you looking something like this. Assembled, we'll need to pull the back plate off and get inside of the wiring, attach the light on top. We have our Baja Designs Squadron. If we open the box here, we got some stickers, a little warranty card, our light. And then I've already opened this, but this is our little tool packet thing. We can just put our box off to the side for now. Inside this little packet, I've already cut the top off, but inside here you'll find a weather pack connector. This is what we'll plug into that. We don't need this. We'll be cutting off this connector, so this can just go off to the side here. Same thing with this bracket. We won't be needing that because this kind of plays for there. And then in here we need to pull one of the bolts out. So let's get inside this little baggie here and let's get the Allen bolt, the 4mm, this is I want to say this is a 6mm, but it's got a 4mm head. This bolt that goes right in the side. We only need one of these. And I'll tell you why in a second. So all the additional stuff we can kind of just set off to the side for now. And then as far as tools go, we are going to need some sort of Allen wrench. This is a 4mm to get the backing plate off and to install the bolts. I personally use power tools, but this little wrench works also. I'll be using this today, but most people will only have this, I understand. You need some sort of splicing tool and cutter. So these little 3-in-1s work really well. It's a splicer, a crimper, and a cutter. This will work to splice your wires, but it will not work to open up your sleeve, and I'll talk more on that in a second. This is the splicing tool that we use. This is kind of a similar situation to this, just does it for you automatically. So we like using these, they're a lot quicker and more efficient, but if you don't have this tool, it's kind of a specialty tool. If you don't have this, this will work fine. And this is just a side cutter, and then a flathead screwdriver. You'll need that. Some extra tools that you may or may not need depending on your install, some needle nose pliers, and then also a razor blade. You probably won't need this, only if you don't have one of these. So now we have all of our tools. We have our housing, we have our light, we are ready for the install. So first things first, I am going to cut the weather pack connector off, just like so. We don't need that anymore. And this is what we're left with. We need to get about half of this sleeve off. I guess I should back up a little. Let's just tell you what the process is. So we're gonna get the sleeve off the light. Then we're gonna pull the back plate off, pull the low voltage cutoff device out. We're going to feed this through and install this on here, plug the wires into the housing. That's basically the gist of it. And the reason we want to trim the sleeve back is because we're not working with a lot of room inside the housing here. So this sleeve takes up a lot of room when it's inside there, so we just want to get it down to the 2 wires. That's the basics of it. With this handy dandy tool here, we can get the sleeve off, just like that. and just pull it. That's the easy way. I'm really good at doing that because I do it so often, but it's not that easy if it's your first time doing it. Splice the wires just to get them to bare wires like so. Now, if you do not have this splicing tool, you might need to use the razor blade to kind of put a little notch inside right here and then rip it off with your fingers. That's a much harder way to do it, but if you don't have this tool, you might need to use the razor blade. And if you accidentally nick the wires, what we do is we provide a little heat shrink that you can put on there, because the last thing you'd want is for your positive and negative touching and to blow out your light. So that would suck. So we provide little pieces of heat shrink tubing. If you were to accidentally nick and you see a little copper wire, if you were to see that, then just put the heat shrink on, heat it up, and you should be fine. Now your light is ready to be installed. Next, we're going to pull our back plate off. This is just the 4 bolts. You'll find on the last bolt here, if you're not holding the backing plate like this, your last bolt might want to swing that thing around, so just kind of hold it together. All right, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get up and come show you what we're working with here. Sorry, my finger is kind of fucked, but. All right, so what we have here, now that the backing plate is off, is our low voltage cutoff. And what we need to do is pull this out. Now, you might be able to just pull it out with your fingers like this, but if you can't, and if this thing's stuck in there, just grab your needle nose pliers like this, grab the little board right there, and just pull it back. That's what the needle nose pliers were probably for. So once we get this thing back out like this, you can just let it sit like that. Now what we're gonna do is, we still have this on. This is a thumb screw. The reason I said we only need one of these bolts is because we will be using a thumb screw for the other one. This makes it easier to adjust, tighten and loosen if you want to pivot the light up and down. All right, so now we have our light, our housing's ready for install. What we're gonna do is take these wires and just feed them down through. And they probably will not want to originally pop out the back. What they're gonna be is kind of stuck in there. So just either grab them with your fingers like this and pull them out and kind of feed it from the top, right? And if you can't stick your fingers down there, just use your needle nose pliers or your pliers and kind of, fish for them. So now it's looking something like this. What we can do is take one of our bolts, line up the little holes here. I'm not sure how well you can see this. Line up the little holes here and start tightening down like so. You want to be careful that you don't, accidentally angle this too much when you're tightening it down and slip this thing out when you're tightening and round off the edges on the inside. That would kind of suck. You round off the edges of your bolt there. And then, so we got one bolt in. Now we take our little thumb screw, and that will be for the other side. Of course, you got to make sure it's lined up. Just feed that guy in there. All right, now what we can do we're looking something like this. I guess I should explain what the low voltage cutoff device is for before we plug anything in. So the basics of this is, think about this as your brain to the flashlight. So you're gonna plug your positive and your negative wire into this board. The negative will go on the right of this green terminal here, and the positive will go on the left. This is a voltage detection device, an under voltage protection device that, all right, sorry guys, the camera kind of cut off. I was talking about what this device is when the camera cut off. So this is an under voltage protection device. It basically communicates the light to the battery, and when the light is draining the battery, it will detect when the battery starts to get low, and it will tell the battery to shut down. That's basically, put it in simple terms, that's what it is. So all we need to do is plug the positive, this white one, and the negative, this black one, into the device, and we'll be good to go. It's already pre-programmed and everything. So what we'll do is we can lay this down. Hopefully you can see. We're gonna lay this down right here, and we're gonna take our black wire. Remember, white goes on the left terminal, black goes on the right terminal. Left and right. So first, let's do the negative as it's ready to go. The best way to do this is to plug it in with your left hand, and you're gonna wanna kind of hold it with your left hand while you tighten with your right. See that? With your flathead screwdriver, just hold it with your left, tighten with your right. Now we can do it with the positive wire. Remember, positive goes in the left side of this terminal. Plug it in, hold it together with your left, and tighten with your right. Like I said, this is the easiest way that I found to do it. Light facing straight down. And then once, if you want to give it one little, extra tighten, you can just kind of hold this green terminal with your hand and just, really tighten it down. Make sure nothing's gonna come out. It's good to go now. Now all we need to do is slide the board back in, put the backing plate on, and we are good to go. So we'll just make sure these are still in the little grooves. There's grooves built into this thing. Just try and slide it back in the exact same way. I'm trying to do this for the camera here. All you really need to do is slide it back in. And once you've slid this thing back in, you can kind of bend the wires around and just make sure that it's all stuffed in there. And then we can take make sure none of the wires are getting caught outside here, just make sure they're pressed in. And then what we can do is take the backing plate and put it back together. And now, of course, I did not bring a battery with me. And now that we have all of our tools out of the way, this thing is fully assembled. This is a unit right here. This thing looks sick. Let's plug it in. Boom. Good to go. Now the thumb screw, as you'll see, it's, it's not hard to pivot up and down, but when this light starts to get hot, and it will, trust me, these lights get warm. When it starts to get hot, it'll be easier to pivot up and down. And instead of having to go and grab your Allen key and retighten it to make sure it's tight so it doesn't pivot up and down easily, you can just, with your thumb, just kind of screw it, and then boom, it's tight again. Super sick. So there we go. That's the install. Maybe there's something I'm forgetting, but that is the gist of it. So let me know what you guys think. We're super stoked on how this new design turned out. This handle grip design with the trigger switch. I love it. I mean, this is my personal one. I use it almost every day. Just walking outside. It's crazy to walk around the neighborhood and see how bright it is and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for watching, and appreciate your support.